Hello, and welcome to the 11th edition of UTA Spotlight, Fall 2016. I'm Garrett Pfeiffer.
And I'm Nicole Deal. Today we'll talk about how new budget cuts could affect people with disabilities.
And we'll also look at how the death of one UTA student has raised awareness to make Cooper Street safe.
And we'll also learn about a basketball player's unique hobbies. Thank you for joining us.
This is UTA Spotlight. Disability isn't always something that is visible, but many people suffer from it. And next year, Texas may see severe changes in disability assistance programs. David Dunn takes an in-depth look at those changes.
Stop using the word retarded. You're talking about me and many other Americans every time you use that word. That was my lead for a column I published in the local paper last May about living with Asperger's syndrome, a developmental disorder on the autism spectrum. Now, growing up wasn't easy for me. I needed the help of a personal therapist and counselor to help me interact with students my age. But next week, Texas is looking to undercut the works of all those therapists, counselors, and doctors that help disabled children like myself every day in the state of Texas. On December 15th, a $350 million budget cut will be applied on Medicaid rates that are used to pay therapists for disabled children in the state of Texas. Legislation voted on it and decided the cuts were needed to meet savings goals in 2015. A lawsuit was filed last year to the Supreme Court to block the planned budget cuts. The Supreme Court declined to hear their case. Now, the state has released a statement saying that the cuts would not affect the current programs that are in place in any way, although many medical experts would say that they already have. According to a 2015 advocacy report, there was nearly a 14% decrease in enrollment from the last cuts that were voted on in legislation, and many medical advocates are worried that the same is only going to repeat this time around. For Arlington specifically, Census.gov confirms that 4.6% of children in the area are disabled in one way or another. That adds up to at least 10,000 children that will be affected by the budget cuts next week. One anonymous student works with these same therapists, and he says they already have a hard time getting medical visits covered.
Pediatric therapists actually care about the children, and them getting paid too much is false. They work hard with parents to get everything covered by insurance. So I can only imagine how many jobs will put at risk and how many children will be turned away without help.
David Dunn, UTA News.
UTA News reached out to the Office for Students with Disabilities to see how the budget cuts might affect their program. The office declined to comment.
To get to class, many of us have to cross a street or two. We look both ways to make sure it's safe. However, one student didn't make it across.
But I'm hoping you might want me, the potential.
Her family and friends gathered Thursday afternoon in front of Arlington City Hall, calling for public works and transportation officials to make Cooper a safer street. On November 16th, Eneida Lisa Sorto was killed by a white pickup truck as she was crossing the street at Cooper and Abrams intersection. One of the demonstration organizers, Charlotte Duncan, said, "Cooper Street is an issue that the city has heavily researched but done nothing to fix."
What we wanted to do today is just kind of bring that to the forefront to let the city know that we know that you know it's a problem and we want you to do something about it, like now.
According to the City of Arlington's website street condition map, the intersection of Cooper and Abram are labeled red for worst condition. There isn't any info available on Cooper Street. Armando Perez, a close friend of Sordo, said he was just with her a week before the accident, crossing the same street.
So we crossed, and I could see how dangerous it is. You really have to be aware and pay attention when you cross.
The next step for the demonstrators is to file a petition for safer pedestrian crossings across Cooper and near UTA.
But will the City of Arlington implement laws and regulations to make Cooper Street a safer street? Or will we suffer yet another tragedy? Larissa Moreno, UTA News.
Basketball and photography. What do both these things have in common? Well, they're both interests that belong to a player on the men's basketball team. Camille Connor has the story.
From the stands, when you see Link Kabadiondi, you see a 7-foot giant who has quite the defensive presence in the front court. But when I sat down with a senior from Montreal, Canada, I learned about things the average UTA fan may not know. He talked about a particular interest that may not be as obvious as his tall size.
I've been interested in photography and picture editing for a long time. More recently, I started editing photos with programs like Illustrator and Photoshop, and I had a class this summer which was communication graphics. From there, I just not took it to the next level because I don't think I'm that good yet, but just editing pictures for fun and stuff.
Although Kabadiondi may be downplaying it, he's definitely shown potential. He's made posters and designs with his teammates and even did one of the home game schedule. He also has an Instagram page where he displays his photography work. He's received compliments from the athletic staff, and his teammates like his work as well.
They love it so much. Every time I show one picture of one teammate, the other one is like, what about me? Where's my photo?
He hopes to continue to get better at his photography and designs. Maybe in the near future, UTA Athletics marketing department will have room for a 7-footer on their team. Camille Connor, UTA News.
To see more of Link's photography, check out his Instagram page at King Tony Pics.
We'd like to thank you for joining us on this 11th edition of UTA Spotlight. I'm Garrett Pfeiffer.
And I'm Nicole Deal. On behalf of our producer, Maria Martinez,
And our videographer, Valencia Mayfield, we'd like to thank you for watching UTA Spotlight.